If you're watching this before you order your SSD, I would definitely order an NVMe. Hey, what's going on, guys? Sergeant's Tech Tips. Welcome to another video on my channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to be taking apart an Acer Aspire R15. The model number is going to be North 16 Paul 2, if you guys are curious. We're going to be installing this 500 gigabyte Crucial SSD. I'll put this in the description below, and I will also put the driver page in the description below for this model of laptop. That way you can go ahead and get the drivers if you need them after either reinstalling Windows or cloning, because sometimes cloning can care. Usually you'd want to put something under it. As you can see, this thing's not exactly in the greatest shape, but leaving it right here is not going to hurt it any. So we're going to go ahead and grab a Phillips screwdriver, as all these screws are Phillips. Now, the only thing about Acers is, well, for one, their laptops are not amazing. And for two, they usually use a lot of screws, so you do have to keep that in mind. Sometimes they're capped, which means they will not come out. So if your screw is not coming out on your laptop, any laptop for that matter, which in this case the screw is coming out, if the screw does not come out, go ahead and just do not force the screw out, otherwise you can mess something up. You can actually see the mount here on this screw is broken. You can see the plastic's missing, so that's a common issue with these laptops, because the plastic heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down, and the plastic becomes very brittle. I've noticed over time, especially with Acers, or any laptop for that matter. Now, usually you want to set out the screws on a piece of paper. What you can do is you can get a nice big piece of paper, draw around your laptop, and put the screws where you know they are. Even if you wanted to, you could flip the laptop around and just put the screw holes where they are and put the screw on top of it. That way, if you ever have to take the laptop apart again, you don't lose the screws. Because sometimes the screws and laptops are going to be different sizes, but in this case they're not, so I'm not going to worry about it. And you are going to want a spudger. Do not use a metal prying tool, because you can damage the plastic, possibly crack it, scratch it. If it's a metal chassis, just use plastic spudgers. Unless you don't care about the laptop and you're just trying to get it apart so you can get parts out of it, then you could probably use a metal spudger, no problem, or a metal removal tool, whatever you want to call them. I highly recommend using plastic spudgers. iFixit has tons of them in their store, so I'll put some links in the description below. And if you guys want to buy this iFixit kit, I will put an Amazon link in the description below. It's the, I don't know which one this is. It's a good iFixit kit, though. I actually put some rubber feet on the back to assist it from sliding around, and so this can still touch it. It's just better, and it keeps it less scratched. Let me go get a spudger. Tools like these are going to be your best bet. If you're replacing a battery, most batteries, like manufacturers, whoever makes the off-brand batteries, and they send them out, they're going to include spudgers and screws, so you don't usually have to worry about that. So I usually recommend this one, because this one is the strongest one. This plastic is less likely to break. These are very prone to breaking, especially if you have some tough plastic, but these work just fine. So what you want to do is you just want to go along the laptop. I'm going to go ahead and lift you up a little bit. That way you can get a better view. Now, a lot of older laptops will allow you to remove the keyboard and get screws under there, but this laptop's new enough where it doesn't have that. So in this case, the plastic is all just encased in here. So what you want to do is just take your spudger. I usually go in the corners. The corners are the best. Sometimes you can get under here where the feet are and just plop it up. As you can see, it's popping up, and then you can go along the side of the casing and just keep disassembling it until it comes apart. Now, like I said, you want to be careful. You do not want to pull. If you pull, you can break clips, and unfortunately, the clips are going to break no matter how easy you are on them. They are designed to break. Don't tell me they aren't. You can't change my mind on that. I 100% know they are designed to break. The companies won't admit that, but they are designed to break. They want them to break so that you buy a new laptop. Now what you want to do is you want to lay it on its top panel, or the top assembly screen, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, don't slide it around. This table doesn't usually scratch things too bad. You can go ahead and use your fingers now. What I would do is I would use 2 fingers, put it under the plastic, just push down and give it even pressure. You can't really see my hand, but like this. That way you can just pull right up, and you're good. And this does already have an SSD in it, but we've been having these ADATA drives fail. ADATA, if you're watching this video, contact me. I want to look into this with you guys and see why these are failing. I've replaced a lot of these in the past few days. Ooh, it's got an M.2 slot. I wish I knew that before. I would have recommended to upgrade to an M.2 instead of a SSD. When you do take your laptop apart, I would definitely check the battery, because if these batteries are bulging, it can be a fire hazard, a safety hazard, and among other things. If you guys are curious, or if you guys have a laptop that you want me to do on how to replace the battery, let me know. You can also go ahead and remove any dust while you're in there, because you don't want that. I usually dust them out when I get the laptops, and it is good to repaste them, but in this case I'm not going to, because this laptop's not that old. I don't think repasting is needed. Now, in terms to remove the solid state, you are going to need a new one, obviously. Let me go grab a cutting tool. Just use this X-Acto knife. I've been using this because it cuts it instantly because it's sharp. So we have a 500 gigabyte MX500. As I said, I'll put this in the description below. This looks way better than an ADATA. Not that ADATA is bad. They have some good stuff. It's just these have been failing a lot lately. Now, in terms of the hard drive mount, I think you just pull this up because it doesn't have any screws. Yeah, you just pull it up. Look at that. And then you just, don't ream on it, but use a spudger or your fingers and get the SATA connection out so you don't break the SATA connection or get it unplugged, because that would not be good. Yeah, we are actually going to remove the battery. I don't know what's going on with the connection here. I want to confirm it's not going to be unplugged when I remove the battery. I don't lose these screws because these are your battery screws. Is there any down here? I don't think so. Like that. Okay, so you can see the SATA connection is right here. Unplug you. And then there's the drive. And thankfully this isn't one of the the cages that you have to put the solid state in or drive and screw it in. This is one that just slides in. One good thing about some laptop brands is they do this instead. Always remember the face up. The face up's going to be the label of your hard drive. If it's an actual hard drive, it'll be the label. For example, it will look like this. If it's face up, put it in face up. Make sure to put it in properly with the mount. Obviously, the ADATA SSD was face up, so put it face up. And what you're going to do is just double check. Obviously, this is the piece we saw when we opened up the laptop, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's zoom you guys in a little bit. Plop in this. So all you got to do, I'm not showing you guys, I'm sorry. All you got to do is take the rubber notches, I guess you can call them, and slide them in accordingly. And do it the same on the other side. You don't usually have to put too much tension. It's rubber, so it'll stretch a little bit. All you gotta do is plug in the SATA connection. I would definitely check this. Make sure, don't pull on it, but give it a little wiggle. Make sure it's not gonna fall out. And sometimes, just to be safe, I like to confirm that connection is good. And then we're gonna go ahead and slide the SSD in. All right, this is a weird way to put a drive in. All you gotta do is slide it in, give it a little push, and then you're good. So if you are using this laptop, I will put a thing in the beginning of the video. I would do your research before you order an SSD for this, just because you can save money and the drive's gonna last a lot longer. Samsungs are okay, but they have a high failure rate, so I recommend. All right, so we're gonna screw the battery back in, and the SSD is installed. And it looks like this laptop has the ability to put 2 fans, which is cool. I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a quick cleaning. By that, I mean I'm gonna dust it out, and we'll be back. All right, guys, I went ahead and gave it a quick cleaning. It's clean as it's gonna get. I could take the fan apart and clean the blades, but as long as you can see between here, I'm not sure why they put a gap here. There should be a piece of tape here to help airflow. Maybe there's something on the side panel or the bottom panel. There's not, so I'm not really sure why we have a gap here, but you know, Acer. Otherwise, the system is clean, so we're good to put the bottom panel back on. Now, in terms of putting the bottom panel back on any laptop, I highly recommend just putting it straight on. Don't put it sideways. Unless there's certain ports, like sometimes there's Type-C ports that have a weird round edge, so in this case you are going to have to put it in on this side, which by that I mean just angle it, line it up with all the ports, and you're going to want to push those ports in so they line up properly, which sometimes it may be a problem. As you can see, the Type-C port is not lining up. Let's zoom out a little bit for you. Focus right there. Best way to counteract that is to just get this on there as the best, to the best of your ability, which it may be kind of a pain, but once you get it in there, it's in there and you don't have to worry about it. The USB ports are usually good about lining themselves up on their own. As you can see, they lined up pretty good. It's the Type-C ports and maybe the charging port you have to worry about. That is a really tiny, you see this? How tiny that is. Well, I'm not gonna say I've never seen it. I've seen it thousands of times, but I keep forgetting a lot of companies do that because, well, they want to make it so their charger is basically harder to find. All right, we're going to go ahead and put the screws back in, and then we should be pretty much done. Usually what I do is I do it in a crisscross and then all over the place pattern. Obviously, this screw doesn't matter because the mount isn't there. I'm not going to screw that one all the way in. Only enough where it won't fall out. And then, so for example, I would go from here to here. Don't over tighten it. The reason I'm saying that is because I've seen people strip screws and then they're impossible to get out and you got to drill them out. Just tighten, finger tight with your screwdriver. If you got to put pressure to tighten, don't bother going anymore. If you want, you can do one single turn and then it'll basically bottom out. After I do like at least 3 or 4, I usually just go all over the place to confirm that the screws are going to be going in at an even rate. That way the bottom panel clips are, you know, going in properly. without having to worry about the bottom panel clips going in unevenly and having to take the laptop apart and doing it all over again. Now, as you're screwing these in, you may hear a click. That's just the panel clips, the bottom panel clips clipping in. Don't worry about that. That's a normal sound. Obviously, make sure you got all the screws in. But that is how you disassemble an Acer Aspire R15. Again, the model is going to be N16P2. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. If you guys did not enjoy this video, please drop a dislike. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Let me know what you guys want to see for future videos in the comments below. If you guys have any more models you want me to look at, like I said, I've got tons of laptops on the shelf. I can do any laptop you want. If the laptop doesn't work, that's fine. I'm just showing you how to disassemble it and possibly change hardware. I've probably got the laptop you have. If you need a laptop fixed and you don't want to pay for it and you want to fix it yourself, let me know and I can help you out with that. I can definitely do a video on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video and peace out.